Lego fans, Star Wars fans, welcome to another episode of Lobricks. This is the video series where we are building a giant Lego Tatooine Star Wars diorama on an old barf-ridden ping pong table, in case you're new, and I know I say this every time. So before we get started, make sure you like this video, like below, make sure you force punch the subscribe button, ding the bell for us, and please give us any feedback or comments. I'm always love to hear from you guys, especially when you can help me with the MOC. So this week is, we've been away from the MOC for a while, so I wanted to do something big. So we are literally going to put 30 minifigures on the board. 30! So, and also 3 of the minifigures we're actually going to do a speed build on. They're little droid minifigures that I pulled up off of YouTube. And I'll put links below in the description. So first, let us show you the entire, the cacophony, the huge amount, the big group of minifigures that I'm going to put on the board. So let's take a look. All right, here are the 30 minifigures we're putting on the board today. So let's go through them. All right, first off, you have what I guess you would call the Mos Eisley Townsfolk. This is scum and villainy to kind of fill up the streets of Mos Eisley. Definitely used some Obi-Wan Kenobi capes here and tried to get a couple of different color schemes. So we have 7 of these guys. So we're going to put these guys on the board in various places in Mos Eisley, which we'll show you. And we have 6 Jawas that we're going to place various places around the board. Some near the Sandcrawler, some in Mos Eisley, and then some on the Jundland wastes. All right, here are 2 Sandcrawler droids we're going to be placing on a board. Let's take a look at them real quick in the scene from New Hope. All right. And then we have another R2-D2 and C-3PO and Doppelganger R2-D2 and C-3PO, and we'll show you where we're going to place these guys in Mos Eisley. All right, now that you've seen all the droids, all of the minifigures we're going to put on the board, because we got a ton, let's start with the speed builds. And there's really 3 droids that I'm going to build for you today. I'm going to show you the parts list first, then we're going to build them. And there's 3 of them. We're going to go through each one, but and one of my favorites, which is the GONK droid. And we're actually building 2 different versions of the GONK droid. And then the Asp Droid, which I'll tell you what those are. So let's build some droids. Okay, so here are the parts to build an Asp droid. And again, these are kind of worker droids on the outskirts of Tatooine. And we'll show you the scene that we're going to have him in, along with another droid once we finish him. So it is a little hard to see the 2 primary pieces, which is almost 1/2 of a battle droid. And actually I have it on backwards here. So there's the body. The head is just a translucent single piece. And then I use the gray droid arms. And really, you can make these ASP droids, really any color you want. I actually prefer the gray legs, and we have some gray legs coming in. All right, so here is the final product of the Asp droid, and again, kind of hard to see on that tan base. But we are going to pair him up with the little probe droid. And actually, we need him holding a, he's doing some work, so let's put a stick in his hand. All right, there we go. So when we put him on the board, we'll show you the scene that we have in mind for this guy. And we actually have 2 more of these right now for a total of 3. We're going to put on the board, and actually I'll probably end up building a lot more of these Asp droids. Okay, here are the pieces of the second droid we are going to build, and this is the mini GONK. So first we assemble the legs. Put the legs on the bottom of this 2 plate. Then we will assemble the body. This is the front of the body. Here is the back of the body. And his cap. Put on his faceplate, which this is just a pretty standard flat two-piece brick that has some writing on it. It's a pretty cheap one. And then you put him right smack dab in the middle of that plate for your mini Gronk. And here is mini Gronk. And I have 3 mini Gronks. One has a slightly different faceplate. So there is mini Gronk. And these are all going to be placed on the board in Mos Eisley. And finally, we have the regular old Grunt Droid. So here are all the pieces. Again, these are very inexpensive if you buy them on Bricklink. And I will start with the feet. The feet go on the same way as they do with mini Gronk. 2 little 1 circle pieces. And this is where Big Grunt changes a little bit. You actually need to have a 3-piece. And this will be the front. And the back. And then we actually, let's put that one on the bottom. So here is the body. Put the top plate on. Put the face plate on. If I can get it on. There we go. And this one, because it has the 2 versus the 1, you want to kind of get them in the middle. So there is your standard Gronk. Here are the 3 Grunt Droids that I have, the regular Gronks. You'll notice this one has a long faceplate. This one I just left with just the top. And this guy actually did kind of a combination. Gave him a top and a bottom. So just to give a little variation to the Grunt Droids. And again, one of these is going to go on the Sandcrawler, and the other 2 are going to be wandering the streets of dangerous Mos Eisley. Okay, so what is left is we got to put all 30 of these on the board, which is going to be crazy. So we're going to be doing different sections, so I'll bring up the plan real quick so you know where we're going to put them all. There's going to be some in Mos Eisley, some by the Sandcrawler. We're putting them all over the place. So let's bring up that plan and let's see where we're going to put the droids, and then let's put them on the board. The first place we're going to put minifigures today is on the Sandcrawler area, as highlighted in yellow. And then we're going to move to Mos Eisley, and if you'll see, I did the entire length of Mos Eisley up to Ben's hut overlooking Mos Eisley, because we're going to be putting some droids there. Not up in Ben's hut, but down in the valley under the cavern. And then finally, we're going to go onto the Jundland wastes and put some minifigures there. So we're putting them all over the place. Okay, as we start to put the minifigures on the board, let's start with the Sandcrawler. So right now, we have basically 5 Jawas with R2-D2 over here, and then we have another 6 Jawas trading with the Tusken Raiders. And you'll notice these stormtroopers over here are supposed to be checking out the escape pod, are distracted by the shenanigans going on here with the Tusken Raiders and the Jawas. So the first minifigure I want to place on the board is the Treadwell Droid. And he is going to have one of my new Jawas kind of push him along there. Get moving there. So the other one and I want to put up inside of the sandcrawler, and it's one of the reasons this Jawa is pointing the gun, is this guy. And I'm just going to call him Dome Droid. Now, I did not show the build for this because, honestly, it's a very kind of simplistic, crappy design that I just built myself. And that's kind of why I'm going to hide him up inside the sandcrawler. But because it was a New Hope, I wanted to have this guy. And the last minifigure to go in the sandcrawler is one of my regular Gronks. And he has a place of honor here, right between those two R2 units. So there's a few more droids missing from the sandcrawler. One is an R1 droid, and one is a little one I like to call the vacuum droid. Take a quick look at them. And we're going to place these guys, those two droids, in future episodes, and then kind of the sandcrawler scene will be complete. Now there's, looks like something happened over here. These Tusken Raiders are going to be placed elsewhere on the board later. Don't worry about them. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. So here are the new droids put on the sandcrawler scene. So let's move to Mos Eisley. And here's kind of a look at it before we put the new droids on. And just to keep with the theme with the Jawas, let's start with these three Jawas. Now, just as a reminder, we only have one Jawa in town. And the one thing I've noticed in the movies is the Jawas are always kind of standing up against walls and kind of hiding in the corner. So I'm going to put one there. I'm going to stick one here. A little hard to see. And we have a new building over here we're not going to show yet, and a Jawa is going to go in it. That's one my assistant built. But I'll put another Jawa right about here on Mando Street. All right, 3 new Jawas. Now let's move to the outskirts of Mos Eisley. Put some AST droids on the board. Earlier when I said I had 3 of these guys, I lied. I actually have 4 of them. Made them a little different. I actually have one with some black legs. They're all pretty much made the same. I just added a couple of different details on them. So the first one I want to do, which is the guy we built, I'll put him on the board. And in the movie, this little guy bugs him. So let's take a look and see what he does to him. All right, so that is after he got smacked, and he's just laying there on the ground. And the other ones we will just place in various spots where they're working. We'll just have this guy kind of here, and maybe one over here by the Dowager Queen. And again, they seem to be just moving scrap around and doing various things, and probably got to get a few more of these guys. Now let's move on to the scum and villainy. I actually set these guys down ahead of time, so you wouldn't have to watch my hands fumbling about, but there's kind of a Star Pilot guy wearing an Endor hat. There's a guy with a kind of an interesting, I think that might be even a Hoth helmet, but he's walking down the street. Here's another guy. Over here in front of our episode 1 guys is another one. This guy actually has a gun. And I tried to put Obi-Wan cloaks on a few of them. This guy is somebody that actually resembles somebody that was walking around the cantina, so I had him kind of heading towards the cantina. And then I added just a couple of guys here going for a walk. So just adding a little bit of traffic and showing that Mos Eisley is a bustling place. But we're still missing our GONK droids. Okay, I actually put down 5 Gronk droids in Tatooine. This guy kind of walking towards the outskirts. Mini Gronk following that guy. Over here on this side of the street. Mini Gronk right in front of him. Regular Gronk over here. And one last Mini Gronk in the corner. So it's really starting to look kind of like a bustling spaceport. Now, there's still a few more things I wanted to put in Mos Eisley, and now it's time for R2-D2, C-3PO, and their doppelgangers. I'm curious why I'm adding another C-3PO and R2-D2 and their doppelgangers. Well, I'll let you know. Well, so let's start with the doppelgangers. So this is a little later than when Luke and Ben rolled into town, and the stormtroopers are stopping this guy. Kind of, they're stopping everybody that comes in. But I realized they wouldn't necessarily stop somebody unless they had 2 droids. So it only made sense that he had 2 droids in the back of his land speeder. And I really liked this brown droid, this brown R2 unit. That was cool and a little different. And that guy just does not look happy that he's getting stopped by stormtroopers. But, you know, you can imagine the stormtroopers saying, hey, how long have you had these 2 droids? And then finally, another R2-D2 and C-3PO. And you're like, wait a minute, there's 2 of them right there. Don't we have enough? Well, I want to have a little scene where they lock themselves in this room, and some stormtroopers are using their excellent investigation tactics by saying, door's locked, move on to the next one. So, a little hard to see in there, but I'm going to have R2-D2 and C-3PO hiding there, and at some point in the near future, we're going to have another little street there and have some stormtroopers bearing down on them. So that is it for Mos Eisley. And we placed the majority of them down. We put 28 down so far. And we have 2 left. So let's go over to the Jundland Wastes. Kind of saved the most boring for the last. Just added a couple of Jawas there in the back. So there's kind of an overhead look of the Jawas. And that will tell you that's 5 Jawas here ambushing R2-D2. And that means we have no less than 22 Jawas. And my assistant actually wanted to do a figure count of how many we have of each guy when this is all said and done. So one kind of last look at Mos Eisley, give a little sneak peek there of what's coming from my assistant. And that's about it. All right, well, that just about does it for this week. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching me put all these droids on this board. I hope you come back next week, this week every time on Wednesday. Hoping one of these days my assistant starts posting his videos again. He is going crazy. He's got school, he's got work, all that good stuff. Also, do not forget to check me out on Tales from the Darkside podcast. I'll put a link to that below. And next week, we are going to, basically, we are hitting the halfway point of the Tatooine MOC. So I kind of want to show you what the second half has in store. And I want to also tell you what the ultimate goal is of this MOC, because I want to put it at Brickworld. I want to go to a convention and show this to other people, and I'm hoping some of you will come out and visit too. So that's all next time. For now, make sure you like the video, make sure you subscribe, leave me any comments or feedback. Hope you enjoyed the episode. We'll see you all next week, and bye.